Woohoo!
Oh yeah!
We are on our way to Alaska. We are 3 days into the trip.
It's incredible, holy hell.
Stretching more than 1,000 miles from Seattle to southeast Alaska. Shaped by glaciers of the last ice age, this intricate ocean waterway weaves and wanders along the mountainous coast of the Pacific Northwest.
Oh my God.
This vast ocean waterway has been used by seafarers for millennia. A safe passage largely protected from the wrath of Pacific Ocean swell.
We've got the big swell coming in from the Pacific from the west.
But it presents its own unique set of challenges. Dotted with thousands of shipwrecks dating back to the 18th century, these days it's a crucial shipping route.
And we are on our way up the coast, heading up to the top of BC and hopefully into Alaska.
And a bucket list cruise considered to be one of the best in the world.
It's been absolutely amazing sailing so far.
We set out to sail this 1,000-mile passage just 72 hours ago, leaving the protected waters of Vancouver Island behind.
Let's get some sails up and get offshore.
Rounding the most notorious cape on the coast, sailing out into open waters.
Woo! We're sailing out, folks. This is awesome.
After 9 hours of pretty rowdy conditions,
We've had quite a day of sailing. Holy.
yeah, definitely got a touch of seasickness there, which I wasn't expecting. We're back in the protected waters of the Inside Passage, weaving our way through the wildness of the Great Bear Rainforest.
The objective over the next few days is to just make miles heading north.
We've just left the small outpost of Shearwater, a popular pit stop for vessels transiting the Inside Passage, where we've topped up on fuel, water, and groceries, knowing the next port of civilization could be weeks away.
We're making our way through a labyrinth of channels right now on our way out to Milbank Sound.
Leaving Shearwater, a decision must be made to head out into the exposed waters of Milbank Sound, or take the more protected inside passages that weave their way north.
As we get out of here, see what the wind is doing, we might make a decision to head up into Fiordland to anchor for the next night or so.
Taking the outside route will almost certainly guarantee us more wind, but this stretch of water has a reputation for being pretty harrowing in less than ideal weather, and the forecast for the foreseeable future isn't looking bright.
Well, I think we're gonna tack upwind through this channel here, and then once we get out into Milbank Sound, it'll probably be a totally different set of conditions, and we'll see how far we make it.
It's nearing the end of May, and the weather is still very much temperamental. This time of year brings a lot of gray, wet, and dreary weather to the coast, and with it, some good squalling winds.
Getting a lot of wind off this black cloud ahead of us. The only trouble is that the black cloud is moving across the channel, and we're trying to go up the channel, so it's really sending us in the wrong direction. Oh, but it has got some good wind. It does make the boat heel and sail very nicely. We got it the whole speed. That was a little bit of a spicy bit. I'm way too cool, aren't I?
Where'd you get your sunnies?
Got these from Canadian Tire, do you like them? My other polarized sunglasses that I've worn for the last couple of seasons broke recently, and I had to get some burners while I was on the road. And now I'm Mr. Cool. Anyway, yeah, that was a little bit of a spicy bit there, wasn't it? There was a little bit of wind coming off that black cloud and kind of just sent us a little haywire. It was probably enough wind that we actually needed a reef in because we were basically spilling everything off the main. We're still tacking up. What's this channel called?
Seaforth.
We're still tacking up Seaforth Channel here. We're thinking we're going to go into Reid Passage, which is a very popular route to take because it avoids going through Milbank Sound, which is the second crux of the Inside Passage that is exposed to the open ocean.
Oh, one sec, my soup. Yeah, I would have lost it. Wow. We're back.
Okay, so I believe we're going to head for Reid Passage just north of Ivory Island. It's a nice little convenient route that a lot of boaters take here on the Inside Passage because it avoids the waters of Milbank Sound, which can be quite uncomfortable. Milbank Sound is kind of like the second crux of the Inside Passage. Similar to Cape Caution, it's completely open to the Pacific, and it can really get a little nasty in there sometime with all the swells. So taking Reid Passage is a very popular option. There's a couple of little anchorages that are very protected inside, and it's quite an interesting little passage because it both floods and ebbs in the same direction, which baffles my mind. I have no idea why or how that happens. Back to you, Al.
I'm trying to film and cook soup down here in the galley. I probably should be multitasking because that's when things go wrong. But yeah, I'm basically got one hand on the soup and one hand on the camera trying to get James talking. We're about to have some delicious soup because it's like supper time and we're starving. So we'll try and eat that underway. Should be interesting. I've got a nice heel on.
We're doing like 6'5". Beautiful.
Did they teach you this in sailing school?
You gotta ride the broomstick.
Ride the pony?
I'm a wizard, Harry. I'm a wizard. No. You just gotta ride the stick. Keep it on course. Look cool while you're doing it, and eat some soup. This soup is delicious. It's exactly what I need now. Just everything a hungry sailor could ever want in one package. And you can do it all while steering a boat with your thighs.
So we've got a South African soup with lentils, rice, chickpeas, peppers, tomatoes, spinach, garlic, a bunch of spices, and some homemade bread, which I should probably flip because it's burning.
Sometimes the most harrowing efforts out here are feeding yourself, keeping the place tidy, and getting to the bathroom. But strangely, it's the sort of challenge of everyday things that keeps us coming back for more. If you're into this sort of crazy, chaotic calamities like us, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. With dinner down the hatch, we were off to the races.
Mom, why is this so good? This is like my new favorite soup.
Beating out of the channel towards the exposed waters of Milbank Sound, where we plan to hang a right and duck into the more protected waters of the Inside Passage heading north.
Okay, travel down.
Okay.
There we go.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. And 2.5, 3 months. Yeah, we maintained like nearly 4 knots of speed around that one.
take everything and find. We stay here until tomorrow. Can't let them win this time. I'm so mad thinking over you. So stay and let this move. You got me inspired.
Tacking up Seaforth Channel was a lot of fun. It was a good wind. It was probably like 10 to 15 knots. We were making good progress. A couple of really nice long tacks there, which got us up, making good ground. One tack, always better than the other, but that's just the way it goes, right?
Approaching the entrance to Reid Passage, we were met with numerous rocks and reefs.
We're just arriving here at the entrance to Reid Passage, and although it looks like a big wide open lake, it actually has a lot of shoals, a lot of rocks, and it's quite a narrow little passage. It is well protected once you get in there, so we're just going to roll in the head sail, power up, and head through the channel markers. We're following in a fishing vessel, which is pretty cool.
The entrance to Reid Passage looks pretty dicey on the charts, with numerous shallow reefs and rocks to pilot around. Luckily, most of the hazards are marked by the breaking swells and the channel markers that guide the way. We wouldn't recommend it in less than ideal conditions. You'd definitely be surfing swells on a wild ride. But once inside, you're completely protected and get to enjoy a pretty scenic and tranquil passage. Good morning, guys. Slept so good last night in this quiet anchorage called Oliver Cove. It's been raining for most of the night, but that hasn't bothered us at all because we have been very warm and dry here aboard Uinta. Loving this new diesel stove. Oh my gosh. It is an absolute game changer for us. Just being able to hang up our wet clothes, dry everything out overnight, and hang out in the morning and just feel cozy and warm.
Morning, guys. We're just waiting out the change of the tide here in Oliver Cove. We're in Reid Passage, which is off Milbank Sound, avoiding all the swell and the weather out there. We're just waiting for the tide to turn this morning. It's currently ebbing, and we're trying to get up through Percival Narrows, which can kind of cause a bit of an issue when you got the swell coming in from Milbank Sound and the ebb coming out of Percival Narrows. You get these standing waves in the way. So we're just waiting for slack so that that will chill out and we'll just slip right in there, and then we can start heading up Matheson Channel before jumping over towards Clem 2 and heading up into Princess Royale Channel. Don't think we're going to get up to Princess Royale today, but tomorrow is meant to be a fairly strong offshore breeze, and we're hoping that offshore breeze will give us a little bit of wind in Princess Royale Channel rather than being completely dead. I mean, this is why people love the inside passage, because it is so incredibly well protected. But for sailors, it does propose the issue that you end up having to motor for a while, which is why it's really important to make sure that you time all of your movements with the current, so you get that sweet current assist, which in our little boat that only has a 14 horsepower engine actually makes a massive difference when you're trying to get somewhere. It's nice and drizzly. It's going to be a wet day today, but that's May for you here in British Columbia. You got southerly weather, unsettled, rainy, drizzly, cold, but it's the most beautiful, serene place in the world.
Just gearing up for the cold and the wet out there. Kind of psych myself up because it's my time to haul anchor. I've basically had a weekend off because James hauled it the last 2 days, so my turn to haul today. Let's go. $30 to $50 deadlifts.
We should count them one time.
90 pounds.
You shout out to Al in the comments, eh? She's a fucking rock star for lifting that anchor out every second day. So, you know, show your appreciation. Hit that like button, subscribe, and tell her that she's doing a great freaking job.
Oh my god, we just spotted a mama black bear and 2 baby cubs feeding on the rocks as soon as we got out of this anchorage. They are so cute.
It looks like Mum's just walking along the tidal shelf, like flipping over rocks and like sticking her nose into the ground, scraping around, and the kids are kind of just like following along after her, like flipping rocks, trying to imitate her. Oh, it's so neat to see.
Black bears are pretty well synonymous with this part of the coast. We are in an area known as the Great Bear Rainforest, which is geographically an area the size of Ireland that is home to a large population of bear species, including grizzly bears, black bears, as well as the rare white spirit bear. What an epic way to start the morning. So stoked that we caught a glimpse of those guys.
Man, I just feel so grateful that we managed to get to see that. I mean, we see a few black bears along the way here and there, but it's really cool to see a mother bear with cubs. You don't see that very often, or at least I haven't seen that very often. And up here, like, I feel like we're just out in the wild and it's incredible.
We decided to have a jig on this cone, big underwater cone on our way out of the anchorage.
Al caught a fish in like 3 jigs, and I can't catch fish to save my life, so we're having fish tacos tonight, thanks Al.
We reckon it's a black bass. Got to get some internet so that we can confirm that. It's definitely a good size.
You should always fish a narrows at slack. Whenever you're going through a narrows at slack, just take a quick little jig. You'll never know what you're gonna get.
With dinner dealt with and having successfully timed Percival Narrows for slack water, we pulled out Uinta sails in hopes of catching a breeze.
We've put up the head sail and we put the main up as well. There's a little bit of wind kind of coming over the edge of the inlet here, so we kind of have, you know, maybe 5-6 knots of wind, if that. Kind of on the beam, a little bit on the rear quarter sometimes, a little bit of gusts, and we're just puffing along really comfortably at 3.5 knots, which is about the speed that we motor anyway. We have the current in our favor at the moment as well, which is really nice, so it's a very comfortable. I mean, the boat doesn't even feel like it's moving. You wouldn't know that you are sailing at all. So yeah, we're just slowly working our way up Matheson Channel here. We're thinking we might troll for some salmon. Not sure if there's many salmon around at the end of May anyway, but we recently picked up a deep diving lure, so we might try to play around with that and see if we can't snag anything. We'll just sail along like this for a few hours and see where we get to. spicy. You gotta love a hot cuppa on a cold and wet day.
That was very hot. That burned my lip. Ow. Did it for the shot.
Okay, so we identified our catch as a black rockfish or a black sebass. They're apparently very good eating, and DFO have this fancy new app which makes keeping track of your catch really easy. DFO is our fishing regulatory body here of the government. The Department of Fisheries and Oceans here regulates all the tidal water fishing in BC, both commercially, recreationally, and they also do a whole bunch of conservation. Yeah.
But they've got a good app.
But they've got a good app now, which is really sick, and it makes it a lot easier to interpret the sometimes confusing laws surrounding what you can and can't catch, where you can and can't catch it, and how much of it you can and can't catch. You can store your tidal water license on here as well, and it also has an ID and the regulations all built into it, so it uses your GPS on your cell phone, and it puts you in the zone, and you can look up the regulation for the fish that you caught. And from that we can see that we're actually allowed to catch up to 3 rockfish a day. Not that we would ever eat that many rockfish in a single day, but this one, he's definitely going in the freezer.
We don't have a freezer.
We don't have a freezer. He's definitely going in tacos tonight because we've been dying for some fresh fish.
He's going in our bellies.
He's going in our bellies. But it's actually a really cool app because you can see all the closures, you can see where you are on the maps. I've always found it really hard to interpret DFO information because it's all like, oh, you're in zone 107-A conservation area, goes from this GPS point to this GPS point, and then there was like all these maps, and the website was really clunky to use, but this app really streamlines the process, and if you're out here fishing in British Columbia, very much recommend you pick it up.
No luck on the fishing front, so we're just bringing the line in and then we can increase our speed. We are nearly approaching Jackson Passage now, which is the passage that we are going to take to leave Matheson Channel and head into Finlayson Channel, where we will continue on north of the coast.
What are you making there, Al?
I am making a seafood chowder using some of the offcuts from that fish we just caught, as well as some delicious canned salmon and canned clams that we have. Some veggies. Yeah, gonna really hit the spot. But something warm and comforting. Fish chowder was such a staple growing up in Newfoundland, and it just sort of reminds me of these wet, dreary days, you know, tucked away in a cottage somewhere having some fish soup. So that's what I'm making.
so warm on my cold hands. Wow. This looks incredible out. I'm sure it's amazing. Oh, holy shitballs. That might be the best fish chowder I've ever had. I can't believe you whipped this up underway. Oh, you can taste the clams, the salmon. Beautiful. Well, we decided to come in to Jackson Narrows. We're just east of Jackson Narrows. I was pretty wet and soaked through all of my base layers and just cold and not having a very good time out there. It's times like these when a pilot house or an enclosed cockpit would really serve you nicely. So yeah, we just dropped the hook here in the little bay just east of Jackson Narrows. Very beautiful, very quiet place. We dropped the crab trap on our way in with the carcass from the fish that Al caught. So hopefully we will catch some crabs in the morning. But yeah, we're just gonna strip off all of my base layers, get the diesel stove lit and tuck in for the night and hopefully get everything dry for tomorrow because it's gonna be another wet one. I think we're gonna have wet weather for the next week and the game is to try to get north and stay as dry as possible because yeah, getting cold and wet and through to the bones is just, it's no fun. It really puts a dampener on everything. So I was flushing the head earlier and it kind of went and then went and then it went and then these tentacles came down into the bowl and I think I sucked up a jellyfish. So now I'm going to try to get the tentacles out because its tentacles are coming down through the bowl and I don't know, you don't want a jellyfish just kind of like rotting there in your head, so that's kind of gross.
It's kind of sad, eh?
It is. I feel terrible. Like, poor little dude. Just hanging around the intake for the head and yeah, just gone. He just got beamed up. Has anybody else out there ever sucked up a jellyfish into their head before? Let us know, write it down in the comments and like and subscribe this video if you haven't already because this is the sort of crazy stuff that we get up to out here.
Wow, it looks so gross.
This was a terminal event for this little guy.
Oh. Oh dear. Like he can't sting you now.
No, I'm sure he'll still sting you.
Oh, the things you gotta do on boats, hey? You know what it looks like?
Yeah, it looks like somebody had a Menses in here. You tell somebody works in a hospital.
It's not the grossest thing you've had to deal with.
No, it really isn't, but like...
It's pretty tame by your standards.
Luckily I brought these with me.
What are these?
These are some sort of sponge forceps. They come in dressing trays and things in hospitals and they're disposable, but they're really handy for these kinds of jobs.
Not what you were expecting this morning when you went for your morning ritual.
So the plan for today is we're going to get out of Jackson Narrows here. We're going to head back out into Finlayson Channel. We're going to head north. We're going to arrive up at the start of Princess Royal Channel around Slack, which is at 2 o'clock today. It's going to then turn to a flood, so the current should help us along Princess Royal Channel. It's about 30 or 40 miles up there, and we're hoping that with a little bit of wind that's meant to be blowing offshore today, hopefully that'll be funneling into the channel, and with the current we should be able to make good time and get further up north to either Buttedale, but the real goal would be to get up to Bishop Bay Hot Springs so that we can get out of the rain, we can go relax, we can hot tub again, which is just going to be absolutely superb after freezing our asses off all day in the rain. So yeah, that's the plan. We got to haul the hook, get out of here. We got to go pick up the crab pot, see if we have any special treats for lunch. And yeah, hopefully we can stay dry, calm, cool, collected, relaxed, and warm while we're underway today. First pot of the season. Empty.
Damn! So disappointing when that happened.
Pressing on through the cold and the wet, heading north in the inside passage route, we make it to Buttedale before the turn of the tide. An abandoned coastal ghost town.
I'm not going in.
Definitely gives me weird vibes.
Before continuing up Princess Royal Channel to the most rewarding stop on the passage thus far, enjoying the steamy hot springs of Bishop Bay. We'll share all of that with you in the next one. As always, a huge thank you to our Patreons for supporting the production of these videos. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you next time.